From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Our top story this evening, officials with Aurora Energy are speaking out today about proposed increases in the rate they charge for steam heat.
That's right, the rates are set to nearly double. The company hasn't increased the cost of heat since they acquired the steam system in 1998, and they say that the current rate isn't adequate to meet their costs. Issues such as repairs and improvements have caused Aurora to lose money on their steam heat in recent years. The company in the past tried to get rate flexibility from the Regulatory Commission of Alaska, but couldn't come to an agreement. Aurora officials say even if the increases are approved, customers won't pay the full amount right away.
If the RCA says yes, we don't plan to the next day go out and double our rates. But we will eventually have to get to that point. So our plan is to do this in a gradual sense. We're also very sensitive to the burden this is going to place on the 73 customers who are on the steam system.
A Fairbanks man who pleaded guilty to first-degree manslaughter has been sentenced to 10 years in prison. 48-year-old Alfred Woods was sentenced today in Fairbanks Superior Court after changing his plea in August. Woods had been accused of beating 68-year-old John Alexander on the Steese Highway community of Circle last January 12th. Alexander died about a month after the incident took place. Woods originally had been charged with assault in the first degree, a charge that was later upgraded after Alexander had died.
The Parnell administration wants to get out from under a 2007 law to further advance a major natural gas pipeline project. That law, known as the Alaska Gas Line Inducement Act, was aimed at encouraging construction of a pipeline to move North Slope gas to market. TransCanada Corporation won an exclusive license to pursue it with state support. Now, since then, the project has changed significantly. It's no longer focused on North American markets and is instead looking at exporting Alaska gas to Asia. Parnell wants to close the state's AGEA office and pursue other projects.
We're on track for an open season with the Alaska Gas Line Development Corporation in 2014, last quarter 2014, first quarter 2015. I see alignment coming together with the producers and TransCanada on a commercial agreement for a large diameter line. So there's progress there, but I'm not waiting on a gas line for Fairbanks. The LNG trucking solution is the near-term solution for the interior.
Those pushing to legalize marijuana in Alaska have gathered 15,000 more signatures than they need to get the issue on the ballot. Petitioners so far have 44,000 signatures and have until January 21st to turn them in. They are proposing new laws on growing, processing, selling, and use of the drug in Alaska, including licensing and oversight. The petition also suggests a $50 per ounce retail tax.
Alaska Native corporations say new rules for bidding on sole source federal contracts are taking a bite out of profits. The corporations can receive federal contracts without competition under the Section 8A of the Small Business Act. However, the rules have changed regarding contracts worth $20 million or more. Native American contractors say they are now seeing the impact of the change, reporting a 60% decline in contracting revenue and lost jobs and benefits for Native Americans. The Chugach and Fbx corporations say they've seen significant losses and it's having consequences at home.
And they are critically important for Alaska Native corporations to be able to build their corporations to be successful, to provide for future generations. So we feel like we were targeted and discriminated against because of the attacks that have been made against us.
All right, when we come back, we take a look at what goes into crafting ice sculptures at Christmas in Ice for That's Interiortainment.
And Fairbanks Flavor talks about the carbs, stuffed
Yum.
bread. Stay with us. And welcome back. Scientists know caribou habitats move location in relation to climate conditions, but they've recently discovered that unstable habitats decrease genetic diversity of caribou. Researchers at UAF predicted herds in northeastern Canada will lose 89% of their habitat in the next 60 years, leaving the herd virtually decimated. Those caribou will have very little genetic diversity to cope with the new environment and could become extinct. Scientists forecasted there will be more stable habitats in the upper latitudes of Alaska, Asia, and Europe. Herds in these locations will fare better and have more genetic diversity.
Caribou herds in Alaska are going to fare fairly well under this scenario. There will be climate change in Alaska. climate change will hit caribou adversely in Alaska, but not to the extent that it will elsewhere. So Alaska comes out pretty well in this scenario.
Tonight we look into the crafting of ice sculptures at Christmas and Ice for That's Interiortainment. If you live in the interior or have even visited, I'm sure you've heard of or seen Christmas and Ice. But what goes into making these intricate ice sculptures or fun ice slides? Well, we spoke to the carvers on the different steps.
Harvesting of the ice is our first priority, you know, so we have to make sure it's cold enough and thick enough, and then when we cut the blocks out with chainsaws and we pull them out with the big forklifts, and then we set them so they temper out inside in the weather.
Some of the ice is harvested for years, yes, years. Even through the summer months, stored under sawdust, the ice will be saved for carving next year.
For Christmas and Ice, it's always about a Christmas scene. So any of the pieces that we do has to relate to Christmas. So that's the reason why we come up with the pieces we do.
What goes into crafting the pieces, we asked? How to make them look so detailed?
Once you have them grown out, drawn out, the blueprint is which we call gridding the pattern on the ice. So if say on this block of ice over here, this is the soldier kneeling, and he's going to have, you know, the rifle, and his head is going to be up here. So the grid is how big his arm is compared to how big his leg is and boot, and then his backside, and then his head size is going to be on there, and then I'm going to add the top part of the rifle.
Santa Claus himself says he loves spending his cold winter days on his throne of ice in front of the Christmas and Ice Park.
It is just a ball to be here. I've been helping out for Christmas and Ice for about 4 years, I believe. And every year it gets better. The children are all the same. They're wonderful to be around. Out-of-town guests, and it doesn't matter how old they are.
Merry Christmas. I'm Stephanie Woodard, and that's Interiortainment. Brought to you by the Finish Line Restaurant and Lounge.
It's time again for this week's Fairbanks Flavor, and this time Lisa Gambardella shows us her special stuffed bread recipe.
Hi, welcome to Fairbanks Flavor. I'm Lisa Gambardella, and this is my kitchen here at Gambardella's Pasta Bella downtown. Today we're making a super easy appetizer special for you for all your parties. And one of my favorite secrets in the kitchen is that we sell our bread and pizza dough. We're making stuffed bread today, spinach and pepperoni. It's best to let the dough relax at room temperature for a little while and get some flour on your cutting board. And if you would like to use a rolling pin, that works just fine too. Hand pressed is going to add a little more air to the dough. Make it in a long shape, a square shape. My second favorite secret for the kitchen is caramelized onions. We're going to do spinach on one side. We have some nice garlic spinach here with some black olives, one of my mom's specialties. And my brother's favorite is the pepperoni bread. So we'll put some pepperoni on here. Both have caramelized onions, and both have some nice shredded mozzarella. Don't forget the Romano or Parmesan Asiago. Your favorite cheese is going to be great in here. A little salt and pepper, and fold it over, seal the edges. See how fast that was? Just have all your ingredients ready to go. Oil your cookie sheet, and voila, there you have it. In a few minutes, you have a nice, delicious, piping hot appetizer special. Look at that. Better make extra because everyone's gonna want some of this. Arrange it on a plate. It'll be delicious. It'll taste great. And there's your stuffed bread from Gambardella's. Join us at webcenter11.com. This has been Fairbanks Flavor. Buonasera.
Brought to you by Gambardella's Pasta Bella.
All right, Joe Cook is next with sports, and he continues the high school basketball team previews.
He also has hockey news. Stay tuned. Sports is next.
Welcome back, and it's time for your Thursday Sports. Interior Alaska. Another Ice Dog received an accolade from the NAHL. Jacob Hetz is the Midwest Division Star of the Week. Last weekend, Hetz scored the game winner in the Ice Dogs' 2-1 win over Kenai on Friday, then assisted on 2 goals, including the game winner in the Ice Dogs' 3-2 win over the Brown Bears. Hetz has 16 points in 27 games this season. Teammate Hans Gororski was an honorable mention for the weekly award as well. The Ice Dogs go into the Christmas break as the top team in the league with a 21-8 record. Midwest Division leader, and they have the most wins in the league. They'll be on the road on December 27th against the Bismarck Bobcats. Senior defenseman and assistant captain Michael Quinn is this week's Air Alaska Nanook of the Week. Last week against Bemidji State, Quinn got his first goal of the year on a power play, and he also added a helper. He has 10 assists on the year, which is 10th in the WCHA. Quinn is known for his defense and is the team leader in block shots with 48. Against the Beavers, he tied his personal best of 7 in one game. The Nanooks will be back on January 3rd, 2014 at the Carlson Center hosting Minnesota State. And today in our high school basketball previews, we highlight Hutchinson High School. Both programs lost dynamic players from their rosters. Now they have a chance to prove that their programs are still contenders. Ladies first. The Hutchinson girls basketball team looks a bit different this year. Not only do they lose 3A Player of the Year Mimi Wood to graduation, Courtney Klein suffered an ACL injury this summer, and 2 other players moved back to the lower 48. 14 players make up the varsity and JV teams. Head coach Jenny Benson hopes this team will fly under the radar a bit this year since they lost some big-time players.
I sort of felt like no one would expect anything from us because Mimi was such a great player, and I'm kind of hoping that nobody does because I kind of know that we're pretty good. And I want to say we're, a shoe-in to win any championship or anything, but I think that we're a respectable team that people shouldn't overlook us just because we don't have Mimi.
What Hutch does have is a returning core group of players that want to achieve some lofty goals despite their losses on the roster.
Our 5, I feel like, could match up with anybody's 5, basically. We have a lot of returners, well, not that much, but we have a few that know our plays and stuff like that, and we just got better over the summer, going to camps and stuff like that, so I definitely think we could maybe even four-peat.
The Hawks finished 3rd in the state in 3A last year and have won the Aurora Conference 3 years in a row. In order to four-peat, everyone will need to step up and embrace roles. Returning point guard Ellie Veazey wants to be one of the leaders.
With Mimi last year and then with our seniors when I was in freshman, they were definitely really good leaders. And this year, I'm one of the oldest with only 2 seniors that can play, plus Courtney Klein. And so I definitely feel like I have to be a leader, especially as a starting point guard also. I feel like I have that role.
It'll be a matchup of 2 interior state tournament teams from a year ago this Saturday as Hutchinson hosts West Valley. The Hawks boys basketball team wants to prove that they're more than just one player. A core group of guards comes back to lead Hutch to a bounce-back season. The Hutchinson boys basketball team enters the 2013-2014 season without seniors Brooke Meath and Darren Silas. Silas was the biggest loss. He did everything and could drop 30 or 40 points any given night, but everyone else is back. John Morgan is in the post, who played well along with Silas, and all the guards. This year they want to show it wasn't all about Darren.
I think everyone's doubting us. We're not going to be good without Darren, and we're small, so we're just going to prove them wrong. We just need to be a better team. We need to contribute off each other. We need to be more of a team. We can't rely on Darren now since he's gone. So we got to be more team-wise.
The team is small. Morgan is their tallest player at 6 feet. Speed will be a priority for this team.
Our key has been right now, it's just all been run and gun. We're focusing on our transition offense, transition defense, because we're a smaller team and we know we have speed on most of the team, so we figure that that's the best way to go around with it.
With a core group of players back for 4th-year head coach Marcy Williamson, she doesn't have to teach as much, which allows this team to do more.
We're going to throw a lot more out there this year, and we have the ability now because they have high IQs, high basketball IQs, so we have the ability to run some different defenses and throw some different defenses out there, which we're going to need. We're not very big, so we're going to need all the tricks we can pull out of our pocket. But I believe in them. They're going to be fine.
The Hawks open their season at home this Saturday against West Valley. And that'll do it for sports tonight. Thanks for rocking with me for a little while. Mike Schultz is next with your full weather forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey, welcome back, everyone, to the weather for tonight. Mike Schultz with you once again. And today wasn't a bad day across the interior. We had a few clouds and a few flurries this morning, but all in all, the temperatures weren't too uncomfortable, and we're looking for the temperatures to maintain this level right on into the weekend with a better chance of seeing some snow over the weekend. We'll talk more about that in just a little bit. Our photograph night, Dorothy Moore sent this in. This is the moon off of Chena Hot Springs Road. There it is right there. A very nice picture, a winter type shot. And again, if you have a photograph to share, send it to photos@ktvf11.com. And speaking of the photographs, as we always have been, we were talking about the Fab Photo Calendar. There's still a few loose ones out there. If you want to check it out, you might stop by places like, well, like I said before, ABC Incorporated. They have them, and they're all free. And again, a reminder, temperatures, again, very, very comfortable for this time of year, just about where they should be. The normal high 5 above, normal low 13 below, record high 40 in 1985, record low 52 below in 1933, 3 hours and 42 minutes of daylight, a loss of 26 seconds from yesterday. And we got to pass this along. Countdown to the winter solstice is now at 2 days. How about that? We call that the excitement alert. Good reason for that, because that means we'll be getting our daylight back starting Saturday. Okay, here's your satellite picture. Again, you can see a lot of moisture moving across rapidly from the west to the east, but not a whole lot of content to the moisture, just high clouds for the most part. So we're not really expecting a whole lot for the next couple of days, but there may be something coming back in from the southwest over the weekend. Now, as far as what's going on across the rest of the state today, it's foggy up in the north slope of Barrow, 16 degrees below is there. Rain and snow showers around Kodiak and Cold Bay. Also raining quite a bit around Ketchikan, and of course they've had heavy snow in the Juneau area. That's turning over to a mix of rain and snow. Isn't that wonderful? Lower 48 weather tonight. Looking at rain moving back in with a picture for the Pacific Northwest. Widespread rain across the deep south. That's all because it's being generated by a new storm developing. On the satellite and radar, you can see the area of low pressure starting to develop here. That's going to roar up the eastern half of the country, bringing a widespread amount of weather there. Very heavy snow expected and very severe thunderstorm activity across the deep south. You can see when the jet stream drives this far down to the south, bringing that cold air all the way down to the south, it clashes with that warm, humid air, and that's what happens there. That's going to be bringing some wild weather over the eastern half of the country the next couple of days. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But back to Alaska for tomorrow. Flurries and fog for Barrow, snow showers in Nome, and sunny skies for Fort Yukon. Here in the interior, we're looking at mainly some flurries in the Fairbanks area, a little better chance of some scattered light snow around the Healy area. Over southeast Alaska, the snow is finally tapering off in Juneau. Rain showers for Ketchikan, while over to the southwest, it looks like freezing rain at Bethel, rain at Cold Bay and Kodiak, and over the south central regions, maybe a little light snow around the Anchorage and Homer area, and partly cloudy skies in Valdez. Okay, here's our weather fact for tonight. And in 1929, Yellowstone Park in Wyoming dropped down to 59 degrees below zero. Whoa, that's cold. That's even colder than Fairbanks. Okay, and as far as the Mount McKinley Bank for the kids' weather for next year, like I said, the kids have shortened classes. They'll be getting out tomorrow early, and they'll be returning to school on the 7th of January, and we'll be more than happy to talk with the kids from Two Rivers, it looks like right now. Real quickly, our road conditions. You can see black ice and icy spots and glaze conditions on all 3 roads. So if you have any condition or any reasons to leave the Fairbanks area, just give yourself plenty of time to get to your destination and just drive safely. All right, here's your forecast for tonight. Looking at 8 degrees below zero, cloudy skies, some scattered flurries, not as cold as last night. Tomorrow's forecast, cloudy early, then a few scattered snow flurries are possible. And the extended forecast calling for a little better chance of seeing some snow for Saturday and Sunday, and that'll be tapering off by Monday. And then for Christmas Eve day and Christmas Day, it looks like for the most part, just mainly cloudy skies, but temperatures will be very comfortable, right around the 5 degree above mark for this time of year. That's very nice. I know Santa has had to put up with some 40 below temperatures in the past, but looks like things are on a pretty good idea for him to come in for Christmas Eve night.
Yeah, that is definitely mild temperatures, to say the least, for Mr. Santa
like
Claus.
It's very comfortable. It's good for the kids to get out and enjoy all their toys they get.
Yes.
Both the little kids and the
big kids.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, very good. Okay, thanks a lot, Mike. That's a great weather forecast. And that will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We are glad you could join us.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News, more on that massive credit card breach at Target. Up to 40 million people are at risk. That's next with Brian Williams.
Join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
And we're going to leave you tonight with some scenes around the community. And this is one of the taller trees on Airport Way.
It is,
all
yeah.
lit up
It's
for
really
Christmas.
beautiful.
All right, from all of us here at the News Center. Have a great night.
Good night.